All right, almost 7:15 here on Morning Live. So the Department of Basic Education has made a decision to cancel the final examinations for grade 10 and 11 due to the disruptions in the academic year caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The department says this is a once-off measure. Learners in these grades will have to write controlled tests based on a substantial amount of schoolwork taught in the trimmed curriculum. This decision will create more time for learners in 2021 to catch up on work lost this year. Also, an announcement this weekend that those teachers that have been home through the lockdown have now been ordered to go back to work. Those that have comorbidities or of a certain age now at level 1 need to go back to work. Elijah Mhlanga, the spokesperson of the Department of Basic Education, joins us to talk a little bit more about this. Good to have you, Elijah. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Yeah, good morning, Leanne. Thank you so much for having us again.
So let's begin with the final exams for grade 10 and 11. This obviously was announced last week. Talk to us about the rationale behind the decision.
Well, in July, on the 9th of July, we actually issued a circular which announced that we were also going to replace examinations for other grades as well. What we said in that circular was that learners in the foundation phase, which is grade 1, 2, and 3, would continue as normal because they don't write exams there. But from grade 4 to 9, they would also write tests as opposed to exams. And that was the first circular in July. And then last week, we then issued a circular specifically focusing on grades 10 and 11, which is the one you are referring to. And the decision for this was taken because we realized that the amount of work that would have been done by the end of the year would not warrant a full-scale examination to be written, because for that you need to have covered the entire curriculum. And this year, due to the COVID-19 disruptions, we're not able to do that. And as a result, we felt that instead of using a full-scale exam, rather have controlled tests, which would be moderated at school level.
So basically this is for all other grades, is that correct? The same principle for grade 10 and 11 will apply to the other grades?
Absolutely, from grade 4 to 9, because anyway, the foundation phase doesn't write examinations.
Yeah, indeed. Are you worried about the repercussions going into 2021? I mean, overload of catching up a lot of this work. How is the department feeling about this?
Well, we are feeling anxious because it's something that we've never had to do before. We have had to revise the school calendar twice in 1 year, something unprecedented. And we are now going to 2021 with work which would not have been finished in 2020, which means we need a new plan. But we are working on the new calendar for 2021, which we hope will give us some more days, which will help us to recover. So we hope that with the work that we are doing now to prepare for 2021, we should be able to correct that which COVID-19 has messed up.
We're seeing that a lot of some of the teacher unions, I should say, have called on the department to apply the arrangement that you have put in place for grade 10 and 11 and the other grades, as you've mentioned, to grade 12 learners as well. Let's get your opinion regarding this in a response to the call.
Well, the situation for grade 12 is slightly different because they went back to school first. That's the first point, but they all actually had more days. In fact, our calculation after revising the calendar, we found that they have more learning days this year than they had last year. And they would be able to finish the curriculum and do everything that they needed to do in 2020 ahead of the exams. But also the fact that we moved the exams to the first week of November as opposed to the middle of October, which is usually the case, that too is going to assist. But they're also learning. I mean, schools were in the Free State the whole day yesterday. We visited 15 schools in the Kwakwa area. All those schools were full house. Learners were there learning. The teachers are there assisting them as well. So they are catching up. In fact, today they are writing physical science paper 2 in terms of the preliminary examinations. And when we spoke to the learners, they said they are ready because they are getting the support that they require. So they are not in the same situation as those in grade 4 to 9.
I mean, it is a concern because I suppose we could say that some of the learners are ready, and some of them may have had more time and have been able to go to school and learn, or learn from home, and the call to come back. But a lot of them haven't, and I'm only now referring to Matrics because they scheduled to sit down and write these final exams. The date's 5th of November to the 15th of December, and some feel that they are not ready for this and they are not prepared for that. I mean, what are the kind of assertions or the kind of, the kind of reassurance you can give these matrics that are feeling like they're at a very big disadvantage going in and writing these exams?
Well, it's September now, so when they say they're not ready, it makes sense because you are writing in November. So you still have time to do that which you have not been able to do. But let's also remember that they went back to school in the first week of June. So there's been a lot of learning since then. They only rested for about 4 days, and they've been back in school. And in most schools, by the way, they are studying 7 days a week, which means they're trying to catch up. And a lot of those that we spoke to in rural areas that we visited, they are saying that they are ready. That's what they are saying. And we can share with you the videos where they are saying that, and also maybe visit those schools and hear from them what they are saying. They are saying that they are confident that with the support that they are getting, they are going to sit for the exams on the 5th of November with confidence. So that's what we need to do. We need to support them. We can't talk about whether they are ready now because they are writing preliminary examinations now, which will also give us a good sense of the state of readiness for the final exam, which is coming up in November. So maybe that's what we need to do to support them more and tell them that they can do it and then actually do the work that will make them feel indeed that they are supported.
Yeah, I suppose, Elijah, we need to keep in mind. I mean, obviously there are matric learners that feel ready. You get the videos, you know the schools, but we're focusing in on the positives. There are very hard stories out there as well, and you know that. I don't need to tell you. I mean, not every matric learner has had the opportunity to have online learning during the lockdown. Some of the schools didn't have the right PPE; they could not open, and therefore not everyone had the same amount of time to cover this work. And I think we need to have that in the back of our minds. But again, I ask you, will something specific be done for these students? You know the schools that have struggled more than others.
Leanne, everyone in life has the same amount of time. The question is, how do you use your time? And the circumstances that you find yourself in, how do you get around them so that you are able to do that which you're supposed to do? So here, one of the things that we've been able to do, which you know, by the way, we entered into an agreement with the SABC, among other broadcasters, to launch Woza Matrics, which is an initiative which is supporting learners via radio and television, those that were not able to learn online. So the television side will help you. And that is over and above the other digital classrooms and schools that are there to help them. But they are also going to school where they are learning. So there's a lot that is being done to support them. We have done a tutor, for example, where at any point where you need help, you can call a tutor who will assist you with what you are doing. Right now, as we speak, SABC Radio is running programs where teachers are there supporting the learners. They call in, they ask you questions, they get the answers, they get the support that they want. You go online, you find the videos that SABC has put on its website that are downloadable, where all subjects, the revisions, the revised material is available for those that want assistance. Over and above that, we also have 330 sites that have been zero rated, which means whether you've got data or not, you can still use access those sites and get curriculum material. So we have done a whole lot of things outside school to support the learners. But at the end of the day, learners must go to school every day, Saturday, Sunday, learn, ask questions, get support, and keep going.
All right. Let's touch on another issue, the one where the announcement was made over the weekend that thousands of teachers, I think almost 22,000 were working from home, are expected back at work today. These teachers we're referring to, are they those that have had comorbidities, those that got permission to work from home? Talk to us about this process now.
Yeah. Basically, on the 30th of May, we had an agreement with the teacher unions via the Education Labour Relations Council, which said that teachers who had comorbidities could apply and be granted concessions to work from home. And that took place. And the agreement covered level 3 and 2. And it said that when we move to level 1, that agreement would cease to exist, which means those 22,500 teachers would then have to return to report for duty at school. And that's exactly what we expect to happen today. The unions are supportive of this because they signed the agreement understanding what the implications were going to be. So those teachers, we have informed them and advised them to please come to school today. In fact, in the school that I'm at today, Rosebank Primary School, everyone else is back. The principal was the only one who was working from home. She's back. I just spoke to her now. She's happy to be back. And she says that the safety measures will be implemented right across consistently going forward because safety is still paramount. So we expect the same to apply in all other schools around the country, that everyone must continue to be protected because the coronavirus is still with us.
Yeah, indeed, it really is. And I mean, if there is a teacher that has a serious comorbidity and a legitimate reason not to return to school, would it be fine? Are they still able to teach from home? Or is this a matter of now you have to come back, whether you have this comorbidity or not? You have to return.
Yeah, the starting point is that you have to return because that's what the agreement says. But if you feel that you are not comfortable in going back, then you'll have to explore the possibility of applying for sick leave, which is available to you, and they know how to apply for that. And then the department will then know what to do once you've officially notified it of your decision.
Okay. In terms of the substitute teachers, I know that the department was urging the schools, if they can, assist in finding them some jobs, because obviously throughout this time they've been filling the gaps. Now what happens to them?
Well, they'll continue to work. We have said to schools that they need to retain them at least until their contracts have ended. And most of them would continue until the end of the year, depending on where you sign the contract and which school you are located at. But we know that some of them were given contracts that would run until the end of the year. Those that would end earlier, we urge schools to retain them, but also provinces will be communicating with them. Where they're able to retain them, that will happen. So it doesn't mean that from today they must go home. No, they must continue to work. All that schools must do is to review their timetables, accommodate both the returning teachers as well as the substitute teachers. There's a lot of work to do in school. We believe that schools should be able to find that and allocate a task to each and everyone who's there so that we're all able to move forward with the schoolwork that needs to be completed before the 15th of December.
Yeah. So let me ask you a couple of questions that parents may have on their mind, schools as well. We wait for direction from the Department of Basic Education. Obviously, as a country, we enter into level 1 today. There's still a lot of schools that are dividing the time. One grade will come on, then the next day another grade, like that. Is that going to change? Will you see more grades returning to school at the same time now, or do you still want to see it working in like a shift kind of manner?
Well, for now, we're keeping things the same, as indicated earlier, that the risk of contracting the virus is still there. Yes, it might be low, but we feel that we can't compromise the social distancing measures that we put in place. So that will continue to happen. The rotational basis will continue. But also where they are platooning, they should continue doing that until such time that the minister announces otherwise. Okay.
In terms of sporting activities, also still the same. It's on hold until further notice. So nothing else has changed when we move into level 1 when it comes to basic education.
Yes, our major concern is curriculum coverage. We need to try cover the lost time, and every minute that we can use to teach and for learners to learn, would rather use that. Yes, sporting is important, but it's an extra curriculum activity. So we need to make sure that we focus on the core business of the school, which is learning and teaching, and we urge all our schools to focus on that.
All right. Elijah, thanks for your time, giving us an update from the Department of Basic Education, coming to us what I think is live from the Rosebank Primary. Is that where you are? I think you mentioned Rosebank School.
Yes. It's
so nice. It's great. Thanks so much for coming to us live from the school. It's nice to see some activity of kids arriving at school and getting ready to get their school day going. So that's Elijah Mhlanga. He, of course, is the spokesperson for the department. Let's take a break here on the program. When we return, your news headlines. We've also got some sports news coming up. Stay tuned.